If you're an artist trying to sell or exhibit your work, I'm about to share the one thing that will help you sell more art and make people remember your name. And it has nothing to do with technique. Today, we're talking about the secret weapon that separates artists who struggle to connect with their audience from those who build loyal followings and sell consistently. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 powerful ways to tell your story through your artwork. Plus, I'll tell you about a special challenge happening on October 6th that will help you define your unique artistic voice effortlessly. So let's jump right in. Here's the truth. People connect to stories, not just pretty pictures. When you tell your story through your art, something magical happens. Viewers don't just see a painting, they see you. They understand your why, and the emotional connection is what turns casual viewers into collectors. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I don't have a story in my work. Oh, yes, you do. You just haven't discovered it yet. Let me show you exactly how to find it. The first way to tell your story is to explain the why you keep painting a particular subject. What compels you to return to the piece? What makes you so interested and fascinated by this subject? Let me give you an example from my own work. So you can see in these 2 paintings, I'm painting aspens. And the larger body of my work is about abstract landscapes, about abstracting nature. I'm very interested in nature because nature relaxes me, calms me down, and so it's a way for me to paint about something calm and beautiful, but also to hopefully inspire my viewer to also feel that same calm and sense of awe. I also want to inspire people to get out into nature more because it has so many benefits to our well-being. So these pieces are a part of that bigger story in my work, but these are focused on aspens. And the reason why I'm focusing on aspens right now is, first of all, aspens are a huge part of our environment here in northern New Mexico. Aspens are actually the first trees to grow after a forest fire. So in that way, they represent growth and rebirth to me. But also, aspens are all one organism. They're all connected underground. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So I think that's a really beautiful thing. It's a metaphor for how people should also feel about ourselves. We are all connected as humans together. And so something that one person does affects the whole. Also, aspens are just beautiful. I love the character of the bark on the tree. I also love the sound they make when the wind blows through the leaves and how they turn really yellow. And when you're driving up the mountain in Santa Fe, you get this huge blanket of yellow and orange from the aspens. So I'm taking my glasses off for this one because there's a big glare. The second method is the process. Sometimes your artistic process is the story. So this is probably more rare than the other technique of describing the importance of the subject to you. However, if the process is really important in what you create in the end, it's a good thing to talk about. So let me give you an example. This painting behind me here is part of my Tumbleweed Love Affair series. And here's how the series started. In my neighborhood, we collect the dry tumbleweeds that get to be about this high in various little nooks and crannies in our neighborhood. We get together and we burn them because it's the best way to get rid of the seeds and to not let them spread. Tumbleweeds are actually a very invasive plant and they're a fire danger. So after we burnt the tumbleweeds, I noticed a big pile of ash about this high. And here's what the ash looks like. It is this beautiful dark charcoal gray, almost black color. So when I actually paint with this pigment, I get these beautiful blacks. And so I call my paint tumbleweed black. Now, I'm also doing these paintings from tumbleweeds because tumbleweeds are romanticized. You think about the Western with the lone tumbleweed rolling down the road, it's kind of romanticized in a sense. But people don't realize how invasive and terrible they actually are. And so I'm turning something that's really invasive and destructive into something beautiful. And so it goes from destruction to creation. Now, isn't that a lot more interesting than saying I make my own paint with tumbleweeds or I make my own paint? So that's where the process and how I create these is a really important part of the story. Now, what I also do is I mix up rock pigments that I collect from around northern New Mexico. These are from the Triassic period, and I create paint out of them as well. And so I combine the tumbleweed black with the natural pigments that are from rocks that are ancient. And so for me, it's something about the new and the old, about the invasive, and about things that stand the test of time. And so there's a theme in these paintings for me. What you're actually looking at here, there's not a meaning in the forms, the way I use brushstrokes. The meaning is really inherent inside my process and what I use to make the painting. Now notice in my Aspen paintings, the process was not important at all. It was really about the subject. But in these paintings, process is everything. Let's go to the third method now. Now the next method is theme. So theme is when you have some kind of deeper underlying message or meaning you're exploring in your works. But it doesn't have to be really philosophical. It could be something like healing from a traumatic surgery or healing your heart after a loss. It could be how you feel about some aspect of the world or even your job. So theme is when we're exploring some idea that is really important to us. So I want to give you an example. In this piece here, and also the one that you see on your screen right now, these two pieces are inspired by this theme of resiliency. So let me tell you how I got there. I was journaling at the beginning of this year on my paintings, writing down my thoughts about the world, my frustrations with the lack of control that I feel that I have over the events of the world. So after I journaled my thoughts, I dry brushed over the entire painting. So you couldn't really make out my words unless you got really close to them. And this is purposeful. I didn't want to reveal what I was feeling. I didn't want to reveal all of my thoughts because they are personal. However, I wanted to keep a few clues and a few perhaps empowering messages that you can see only if you get up close. So in that sense, I'm asking the viewer to come up close to the piece and really look carefully. So in some sense, this one is not just about theme, but it's also about process too, because my process is journaling and then covering it up and hiding my thoughts and then letting some come through so that those who feel drawn to the work come up and engage with it closely and maybe even ask me, what's under there? Why did you do it this way? And then I can explain myself. You see, people are going to ask you about your work. They're going to be curious how you made it, why you made it, and you should be ready to answer those questions. It shows that you're a serious artist that knows how to think deeply about your own work. But I understand this is not easy for everyone. I was actually an art history major, and we learned how to analyze artwork in depth. We looked at color and brush marks and form and subject and historical context and all these different things to deeply understand a piece of art. And I love to teach my students this aspect of understanding one's own art by looking at some of these different elements that we're using, these reoccurring patterns that are happening in our work. Now, if you want to understand your own work in this deeper way, how to find the meaning you didn't even know was there, I encourage you to take my challenge. It's the Awaken Your Artistic Voice, the Define Your Style Challenge, and it's happening at the beginning of October 6, 2025. And in this challenge, I'm going to help you understand how to think deeply about your work, find the strengths, and figure out how to focus to create a series from the strengths and the interests that you currently have. By the end of the challenge, you'll know which artworks have the most potential for a really strong series that you can exhibit or sell. I'll also give you a roadmap for how to continue making more works in that series to make it feel cohesive. Like I said, the challenge starts on October 6th, and over those 4 days, you'll get pre-recorded lessons sent to you. And you also have the option to join a private Facebook group and attend 3 live Q&As with me. I also give you creative meditations and all kinds of other resources to help you launch your art career to the next level. So there's a free option and a $10 option in this challenge. You can click the link below in the description box to get more information. And if it's after October 6, 2025, then don't worry. You can click the link below to get on the waiting list to find out about the next Define Your Style challenge. I usually only run these challenges once or twice a year, so be sure to get on that waiting list. Just remember that your story is what makes your art unforgettable. It's what connects viewers to your artwork and to you. So start thinking about your why. I guarantee it's more interesting than you think. If this video helped you, subscribe for more tips on building your art career, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Now, if you like this video, you will love this one on the bottom left that shows you what a series actually looks like, or you might love this one on the bottom right, which tells you what kind of portfolios galleries hate and what you should focus on instead.